Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. A warm welcome to our uh, amazing book club of ISIP Tarbiyah. We are pleased to have you and honored to have you all again on our forum. I hope we all benefit from from the discussions and the efforts that we all are making, and these discussion actually serves us in making a real change in how we parent our kids, our children around us in our own capacities. Maybe we like parents, teachers, guardians, or just elders amongst the children. So, assalamu alaikum and warm welcome to everyone. I'll give you a little bit introduction of myself and my dear sister Mahlaqa today, and then I will I will just inform you about the agenda for today as well, inshallah, and then we will begin. So, I'm Sundus Burhan, part of ISIP. I'm a mother of 3 kids as well, and I'm a psychologist. Alhamdulillah. This is a little bit about myself. Very passionate about Tarbiyah and parenting per se. Today, I will be facilitating the discussions. And Alhamdulillah, today our host will be Sister Mahlaqa Javaid Akhter. She is, mashallah, an amazing person that I've known personally since a while now. She is a very active member of the Tarbyah Task Force, as well as she is leading the subcommittee of book club in the Tarbyah Task Force. So, as you might be aware, you might not be aware. So, Tarbiyah is a whole task force, alhamdulillah, running. It has a lot of subcommittees running. One of them is book club. The other includes curriculum, lecture series, and there are multiple, inshallah. On some other occasion, we can give you more information about that. But inshallah, I will add those of whom you are not part of the Tarbiyah WhatsApp group. I will add the link in the chat, and you can all join where you can get updates about all our events that are happening. So, Sister Mahlaqa Javaid Akhter is a medical graduate from SMC Karachi. She's also an early childhood educator. She had her certifications from Canada. She's also, mashallah, a life coach, and she's certified from USA. She has also done PTCC from ERDC, which is a very esteemed organization. Mashallah, she's currently, as I mentioned you, a project manager of Tarbiyah Book Club and an advisor and active member of Tarbiyah Task Force as well. So, an honor to have you, sister, with us. So, without any further ado, over to you. But just before I will let all the participants know that today's agenda will be that we in the last session we read the book, the first chapter together. Today's the focus of today's discussion will be we want to revisit the chapter, and today it will be a more like a discussion, like it will be a forum for you where you can open up your camera, like a camera as well. You can open up your mics, and we can have a conversation around the chapter where we can take some action plans. So Sister Mahlaqa will inshallah guide you towards the discussion, and we all can discuss and take some action points from the book, from the chapter that we read in the last session. So over to you, my dear sister.
Jazakallah khair, Sister Sundus. Thank you for the lovely introduction and your kind words. So I'll start the session. نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم أما بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي اللهم فقهنا في الدين ربي زدني علما. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I extend my warm welcome to everyone here today, my esteemed colleagues from ISIP and other esteemed members, the audience. I know you guys must be attending this from all over the world and many countries. So we welcome you here. Actually, today, as Sister Sundus already mentioned, that I'm going to do a brief recap of the chapter, the children around, first chapter from the children around the children around the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The main goal for today's session is to extract all the lessons that we have learned from this first chapter, and then we will try to ponder a little bit upon it and just kind of go through it and revisit it, and then try to process it and assimilate it. And as we already said that we have to make an action plan around it. But the first thing is I'm going to briefly do all the recap, and in the end I would ask you guys to raise your hands if you have any reflections, if you need to do any kind of, you have any questions, or even you have any you have anything from the real challenges, parenting challenges, issues. But we will see how much time we have. So this is our first session. And one thing I would like to also remind you that throughout our life, we have been reading, this is nothing new. We have been reading throughout our lives, many books, many forums we are attending, and we are going through all of these instructions. But the main thing is that we keep on doing the same things. Habitual. Can you please, everybody can mute your mics so that I don't get distracted? Thank you. Actually, I'm very bad at it. If I get distracted, I forget everything. So it will be very kind of you if you guys can keep the mics muted. Thank you very much. So I was saying that although we are all aware of all of this, the knowledge, but the thing is that we don't take it very seriously. We take it very lightly, especially our interactions with children, especially the way we interact with our children, the way we behave with them in different situations. It is like automatic, like we are on autopilot. We just do the things we are habitual of doing. So the main goal of going through this book is we have to focus on what Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, how he interacted with the children, what was his behavior, what were these are very small stuff. Most probably all of us know that, but we don't pay attention, we are not mindful, and we don't practice it the way we should do it. Although I know there must be many people who must be practicing it, but I'm talking about the general public, including me. So this is a reminder for all of us, because we need to learn the important stuff that Prophet Muhammad tried to teach us, and we need to process all the learning, assimilate it, ponder it again and again, discuss it. So it's better to go through these reflections. It's not enough to just read the book once. We have to read it again and again. We should discuss it as much as possible. Discuss it within our families, discuss it on these kind of forums. We try to process it, assimilate it, and then we will be able to finally, it's not that easy, then only we will be able to apply it to our real lives. So with this reminder, I'm going to just briefly recap the pointers from the lessons learned from this chapter. I know Sister Sundus might be taking some notes. You guys can also take your notes, or even if you have your notes, if you have read the first chapter, you can bring your, later on, you can bring your notes also. Anyways, so we know that from this first chapter, actually the first chapter of this book was the main, it highlights the attributes attributes of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, which had an impact on those children around him, such as his outstanding characteristic in this first chapter is his compassion and mercy. So we know that Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was a very compassionate person, but he also, the single most adjective that best summarizes the Prophet's attitude toward children is his being compassionate. Okay, so we need to inculcate this quality in ourselves. We have to become a compassionate person, a merciful person, especially Here, can someone mute? I just requested if someone can. Yeah,
I'm sorry,
I
like
said
I have
I'm
muted
very
the
bad
person.
at this. If I will listen any distraction, I'll flip my fuse, goes fuse. Sorry
I
about that.
apologize, sister.
Okay, so we need to inculcate this quality of compassion within ourselves, the compassion and mercy, because we know that many times with children being we feel children are very annoying. So we get annoyed by their little misbehaviors, misconducts, or their mischiefs, because this is their innate nature, that they will be very active, very sometimes mischievous, sometimes. But we should ponder, we should look at how Prophet Muhammad used to interact during those scenarios when children are misbehaving or something. He never reacted. He was very calm and calculated, and he never practiced corporal punishment or any kind of reprimand or yelling or scolding, or he never used to punish children, as well as any like women under his supervision or adults or his slaves and the workers who used to work. He never used to scold them, scream at them, or punish them. So this is something very, we should highlight it. We should write it somewhere in big boards, that this is something we should not be doing as well, because this is very common scenario that we react very extremely. We can see everywhere, and we should catch ourselves also, that what we do. If any child is being like one is being like mischievous, what we do is we scream, yell, sometimes you slap him, we beat the person, we beat the person, we slap him, beat the child, slap him, or even sometimes drag him, and we do like stupid kind of silly kind of stuff. It's not silly, actually, it's very serious. It's something that Prophet Muhammad would never allow us. He would never want us to do these kind of stuff. So we should be mindful of our actions. How are we behaving while we are interacting with children? In this book, in various instances, there are many few stories, and that Prophet Muhammad was very calm, calculated, and like we will come, I'm going to describe few of the stories maybe. Let's see. Then we also know that Prophet Muhammad's mercy extended to even non-Muslim children as well. So this is also mentioned in the book, that Prophet Muhammad, this is a learning lesson from it as well, that we should keep this in mind, that all the children are equal. Like being a Muslim community, sometimes we might feel like the Muslim children or the children around us who belong to Muslim family, they are more worthy of our mercy and compassion. No, this is not the case. Prophet Muhammad used to be very merciful, kind, and he extended his compassion to non-Muslim children. Like there is an occasion when once he visited a Jewish boy who was very sick, and Prophet Muhammad went to visit him to wish him well, so that he can get well soon. And he also treated well and respected children born out of wedlock. So this is something very important to notice. This has been also mentioned in this book, that children out of wedlock means children as a result of zina. So being Muslim, we are very much like, sometimes we have hatred against these kind of sins. We have hatred in our heart and mind. We have to be mindful that even though it's a sin, but human beings are human, and they can do mistakes, things can happen, and these kind of stuff we can witness these kind of stuff around us. So if we know anyone who has given birth to a child out of wedlock, we have to be mindful. We should always remember not to become judgmental or unkind or harsh to the mother or the child, because this is something very important, to respect that child, because that child has it's not the child's fault, and the child deserves the same level of care, compassion, and unconditional love that all the rest of their children deserve. Because there was a story mentioned in this chapter that once a woman admitted that her baby was born out of wedlock, and maybe she was worried and she was not sure what to do about the baby. So Prophet Muhammad advised her to go back and suckle the child until the child is ready to wean. Or it meant like the child grows up, becomes independent. So you have to take care of the child. That was Prophet Muhammad's advice for that woman. So kind of, these are the few things that I'm highlighting because these are important stuff. We need to take care of these things. We have to keep them in our mind while we are navigating through life. Then, Prophet Muhammad was being consistently patient with children, no matter what they did. So, like there once there was an incident that he was holding a mother's baby, some other person's baby in his arms, and then suddenly the baby urinated. So then Prophet Muhammad didn't reacted in like frustration or anything, disgust, or he didn't show any of that sort of thing. What he simply did, he simply splashed some water. So we have to be mindful. We have to keep all of this stuff in our mind while we are engaging with even our children or anyone else's children around in our surrounding. Because usually what we do, sometimes people get very like disgusted and they can scream, and if the person is very close to them, they can yell at them, or these kind of stuff happens. So when we are mindful, when we know how our Prophet Muhammad reacted in these kind of situations, we will be behaving in the same manner. Then another incident is that whenever Sallallahu used to like if a group of children are playing and they are sitting somewhere, and if Prophet Muhammad is passing by, then he would greet those children. So this was reported by Anas radiallahu ta'ala anhum, and he remembered the incident while he was a child, but he remembered that he used to play, sit and play with his friends, but Prophet Muhammad passed by and he used to stop beside the children and used to greet them. So this is also something very important we need to keep in our mind. Usually what we do is we take the children as like little, very small, insignificant stuff. I mean, human beings or whatever you can say. Usually what happens that we are very busy with our adult people, and we are very engaged with them, and we don't notice that the children are also sitting there playing, and they seem to us very insignificant. But we need to make it a point that wherever we go, even if we are very busy with talking with other adult people, we need to stop by, notice the children, go to them, greet them, and talk to them as a person, So that is very important for children while they are growing, for their Tarbiyah. This is important for their Tarbiyah because we are all delegated with this task to do the Tarbiyah of our own children and of rest of the children, whoever we meet, whoever comes in our with our connection, because this is how a Muslim Ummah will grow. This is how a Muslim Ummah will flourish, and this is how we will all become better. Actually, the goal of this platform here is that we will do one chapter, then we will review these lessons, we will talk about it, do discussions, we will bring it into our action plan, and then that is the main purpose, that is the main goal, to become a better murabbi. Who is a murabbi? Murabbi is a person who does the tarbiyah of children. Actually, we are supposed to do our tarbiyah first. So this is a kind of our tarbiyah. Right now in this platform, we are all gathered here to learn and do our tarbiyah. First, we will do our tarbiyah, and then in return, we will become a better murabbi, and then we will become a better learned person, a skillful murabbi who will be able to do a good tarbiyah of all the minors, all the children who come in connection with us. So this is something I'm just mentioning to you guys. So now we come back again to the chapter. Then we have seen that in this chapter it's mentioned that Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam connected with kids by using his playful sense of humor and by silly with children. No, he's not. He's very like a human being, simple and very relaxed, very compassionate, merciful, kind, humorous, happy, and he will connect with children in different ways. So he also did what he did, like he used to give gifts to children. This was his very sorry, I just thought that I'm disconnected. I'm here, right? Okay. You are taking notes, Sister Sundus?
Yes, I am. Yes, you are
Okay.
all connected. We can hear you.
Okay, great. So Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam used to give gifts, offer gifts to children. What did he do actually? You know, he didn't just give gifts like through the parents or through some adults in the child's life. He would give it personally. He would connect with the child personally. So that is also something noticeable, that even if the child is very young, very small, don't think that he doesn't need to know like who is giving the gift. You just give the gift to their parents and tell them to give it. No, you have to make a one-to-one personal bonding with the child, and the way to make this bonding is to give some gifts to them personally, talk to them, tell them that you have brought their gifts for them. So what did in this chapter it's mentioned that Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam in the first season of the harvest, usually people offered Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam some dates or fruits of that season. So what Prophet Muhammad did is he used to give the first fruits or dates to the youngest child sitting somewhere like nearby, or if they are there, you know. So he will offer the children, so that to show that children are important, they are valuable. This was his message through this action. Then many things Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam used to do, that's mentioned in the chapter, that in order to develop the sense of responsibility and trustworthiness in the children and to build their self-esteem, he used to assign tasks to children. Like he used to sometimes send them on on some confidential missions, like something he would give them a task and he would ask them to keep it private, not to tell it to anyone. So there is a story mentioned here that there was a mother who asked a child, why are you late? So he said that he went to finish a task that Prophet Muhammad has assigned him. So she said, what was the task? So the child replied, no, he cannot disclose it because it's confidential. So that was kind of a very cute and nice thing to be a child feeling this worthiness, this trustworthiness, that he can be trusted with the secret of Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and he is a worthy person. So these kind of stuff we can also bring in our practices. We can also ask the children to so that they will feel that they are very responsible and important person, that the adults are giving them some kind of chore that is so secret, but they are confiding on them. So these are all the small stuff that we can learn, you know, from Prophet's way of interacting with children. Then, you know, the other thing is that when the children, when they made mistakes or they did something unacceptable behaviors, so Prophet Muhammad would be very gentle. He would be gentle and he would not, as we've already discussed, that he will not yell, scream, just scold or do those kind of stuff. Actually, there is a story mentioned here in which I have derived the 3 steps what Prophet Muhammad used to do, and this is something, a very good lesson to be learned, that a child, like a child was doing, like he was throwing stones on the date palm tree, and that was something not nice because the stone can go somewhere, hit anyone. So what Prophet Muhammad did is, first he called the child and he inquired him why he was doing this. So the first step, if the child is misbehaving and doing something mischievous, don't start screaming, don't do this. He said, ask the child why he is doing this. What is the reason? So when the Prophet Muhammad inquired him, the child said that I want to eat the date. So then the next step, what Prophet Muhammad did, he redirected him gently and respectfully. And he told him not to throw stones. Rather, what he should do is he should just pick up the whatever dates are down there on the floor and eat it. So The second step was he very respectfully and guided the child what to do. And the third step, you know what he did? He patted on the child's head, put his hand, and then he made a dua for him that may Allah give him enough so that he can eat. So this is the third step we also can bring in our upbringings, that first we ask the child why he's doing what he's doing, then redirect him respectfully, and the third day we should touch him, like physical touch will soothe the child, and we can use verbally our some kind of dua or prayer that will bring the child into the present moment, and it will make the child feel that actually Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one who is going to fulfill his needs. He shouldn't become very mischievous or very hyper or start to do something to get his needs fulfilled. He will, like psychologically and emotionally, in the back of his mind, he will learn that, oh, the dua, I can also ask dua from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he will give me whatever I need. So the boy will actually calm down, the child will calm down. So these are the three steps that Prophet Muhammad showed us, that how to deal in these kind of situations when a child is becoming naughty or doing something mischievous that is not very ideally, or adults don't approve of it. So you don't have to scream, shout, and reprimand the child. Okay, so Prophet Muhammad ﷺ was also an ideal role model for a wide range of traits. So like trust and honesty, this kind of used to role model himself. So once what he did is, there was a mother who was kind of trying to ask a child to come join her and Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. Maybe she wanted the child to sit there beside Prophet Muhammad and listen to something. But what happened, maybe the child was not listening to her, not coming. So she promised the child that if you join us, I will give you something, a gift or something later on. So as soon as she said that, and maybe the child came, then the Prophet Muhammad asked the mother, what are you going to give him that you are promising? So the mother said, some dates. So then Prophet Muhammad reminded the mother, it's very important that you give what you have promised, because if you won't, this will be counted as a lie, that you lied to the child. Why did Prophet Muhammad made it very important? Because sometimes we think that the child is not very, very important. We'll just promise him so that he can come now, and later on we don't have any like this thing in our mind that we have to fulfill the promise, because the child is an insignificant, he will forget, he's nothing, So no, the Prophet Muhammad is teaching that it's very important, child's a very important person. If you are promising, you have to make that promise fulfill. Why? Because that is a role modeling also, because the child will learn to trust you. Actually, he will not lose trust on you. It's very important that child doesn't lose trust on his parents or any elders, because if he loses trust, then nothing is left. So you need to build that trust by fulfilling your promises. And also the child will learn from your role modeling that once he grows up, he need to be that kind of trustworthy person who fulfills his promises, who fulfills his duties, who fulfills his commitments. So these are all very small stuff, but we need to be very mindful of them. We need to learn all of this stuff. Otherwise, the Tarbiyah won't be possible. The good Tarbiyah won't be possible, So then now, after all of this, there is mention of Prophet Muhammad's appearance, because appearance is something very important, So this has been mentioned because so that we pay attention on our appearance also. So try to, when we are engaging with our children, we can see when then Prophet Muhammad used to interact with children, he used to smile. The first thing was smile, very big smile on his face, very pleasant expression, very good demeanor, very, like he was very positively used to engage with a happy face, happy verbal and non-verbal cues. All of these things were very positive. And his smile was the outstanding thing. Every child has mentioned later on, the children who were around him, that Prophet Muhammad always met them, greeted them with a smile. So have a smiling face, put a good facial expression while you are engaging with children. And then one more outstanding stuff was his teeth. He used to miswak regularly, so he used to keep his oral hygiene very good in shape, and he used to have a very clean, white, shiny teeth. So it means that we also need to take care of our hygiene, oral hygiene, and others also, like having a good dressing up in fresh clothes and put some good fragrance while we're interacting with children, so that they will also feel pleasant around you. So then they have also mentioned that Prophet Muhammad ﷺ was a very beautiful and handsome person. His features were very beautiful. So his face was like a moon, and it lit it up like the light from the sun. So these kind of things were a blessing from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and he was a special person. But even we can have so many learning points from it, that we can all try to become like as much appealing to children while we are interacting with them. Then Prophet Muhammad ﷺ also, we can pay attention to his verbal and non-verbal communications that he used to use while engaging with children. So you know how Prophet Muhammad, the manner of his speech, how he used to speak. He used to speak very clearly, slowly, and deliberately. No rush. It was so, he has so much eloquence. His speech was so much eloquent and clear that people can easily memorize his speech. What is this telling us? This is telling us that we have to improve the way we speak. We have to be very deliberate and conscious when we are speaking, especially with children. We have to speak slowly, politely, calmly, and in a very the way so that they can understand what we are saying. Because sometimes you are very fast, screaming or being very harsh, loud, and children get scared of us and they can't listen. They get emotionally overwhelmed and they can't listen to us. So they don't understand what we are expecting. And then we become angry at them that I'm telling you to do this and you're not doing. So these are all very important stuff. We have to be very mindful of all of this stuff every day. So then it is mentioned that Prophet Muhammad ﷺ was, after when he became prophet and he was engaging with children in his period of Makkah, he was from his 40s to early 50s. And when he migrated to Medina, he was in his early 50s and 60s. This was the period when he was a prophet and he was engaging with children. But it is very important to know that Prophet Muhammad was a very young looking person. He had a very few gray hairs. So kind of children were very, they didn't perceive him as some very old aged person. He was perceived as like aging grandfather, but he was not perceived as an aging grandfather, but rather as an approachable adult. So children were kind of, they were kind of very very happy to engage with him, because they didn't think him like as a very old and someone to get scared of, but he was very approachable. So this is kind of something I thought that I learned from this, that maybe it's okay to try to look a little bit younger than what you actually are. So I feel like he was naturally like that. Prophet Muhammad was naturally like that. But if we can also keep our appearance like little bit younger looking, so that might be more pleasant to the children. But it's fine, it's okay. It's not like a hard and fast rule. When we get old and we are we have gray white hair, this is also something very to be appreciated. But actually the most important thing is to what our behavior is, how we behave around the children. So that is the most important thing. So, now that we know that his appearance and all of these things also count, we also should pay a little bit of attention on few of the incidents that have been mentioned here. That Prophet Muhammad's incident when he went to Taif, he was stoned and he was kind of treated very badly, right? But what happened that the angel came and asked him to, if he allows the angel, he can crush the whole community over there in between the mountains. But what did Prophet Muhammad say? This is something to be noted. He said that he didn't wanted to punish, he didn't wanted Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala or the angels to bring punishment on them, because his vision were children, the future generation. What he was thinking at the time. Just imagine this. It gives me goosebumps. He was thinking that even these people, if they are not, they don't have hidayah right now and they are treating me so well, but he had an expectation from the coming generation that might be their children, the coming generation will start understanding me, who I am, will start learning the Quran, and they will know about the revelation, and they will become better human beings, better Muslims. At that time, it was like a beginning of Muslim Ummahs just emerging. So he had that vision, and he said, don't crush them, don't bring punishment for them, because I'm thinking that the coming generation, their children, their grandchildren, they will be better people, and they will be on the right path. So just look at him, how much like he was looking forward towards, and he was protected. Actually, he was protecting the children, because if they all would have been crushed, there would have been no more progeny that will continue. So he said not to do that. So these are some very beautiful points from this chapter, and because I will just check a little bit what's left. Mostly the points have been covered now, and only there are few points that about those young, very young children, like few of them, Umar radiallahu anhu, son Abdullah, and there were two Abdullah, and Hassan and Hussein. They were like very young when, they were very young children when Prophet Muhammad, they witnessed him only before Prophet Muhammad died in the age of 63. So some of them were only 13, 10, or this. So later on, when they turned 20, they have still remembered Prophet Muhammad very clearly because of his appearance, his beautiful face, and maybe it was Allah's will, because one of them lived till he was 93. I think it was Abdullah or someone. He was 103 years old he lived, and still to that day he remembered Prophet Muhammad's face very clearly, because maybe it was Allah's will to keep him, remind him by bringing Prophet Muhammad in his dreams. And also Prophet Muhammad was such a lovable person, like if anybody met him once, they cannot forget him. They will just keep living by keeping his love and his memory in their heart, and that will be enough for them. So these are some of the reflections also that I think it's pretty much done. So let's see. Okay, yeah. Okay, so done. So let's move on from here. What we can do is we can take your, if anybody of you would like to reflect or bring some more points from this chapter, I tried to extract as much as possible. But if I have missed anything, you guys can raise your hands, and also you can reflect and bring your reflections and also some questions. And Sister Sundus, have you been recording all of this up till now?
Yes, it is
Just
being
in order
recorded.
to make this space a little bit more private and safe space, we are planning to stop the recording now, so you guys can engage very freely. And if you have any real challenges or issues from parenting, we can also discuss that depending on how much time is